Let's all give it up for Keith, everybody.
The setting for my story finds us in New Orleans, of all places, in a very uneventful time of the year, about the middle of October. The reason that I'm there is because my girlfriend, Renee Larson, she does have a name, is there on business. We decided to make a weekend out of it. So it is an early evening, it's about 9, 10 o'clock, and we find ourselves just casually carouseling our way up a really uncrowded Bourbon Street. There's nothing going on. And we're very soberly sipping on a hand grenade, looking in windows at what should be a party environment. I've seen this so many times on TV that this is the place that rages, but it's crickets. Except up the street, a little ways, there is the usual activities that you would place with New Orleans of women showing their wares for baubles that are thrown from stairs. And as we walk our way up and stand at the side and watch this thing, we get invited to come inside and be a part of the festivities, all under the guise of, hey, you buy some beverages and we'll give you a discount. You get these bobbly bees you can throw down. So we find ourselves, we're up on the balcony and we're looking down, and to my amazement, there's people participating, and I'm throwing beads and I'm getting in it and I'm calling out and show tits, and they're showing tits. Wow, this really does happen. Except for the one wanton woman in the white sweater, and she and I make eye contact, for she steps out for the really big beads, and she kind of lifts it up a bit, but just doesn't deliver the goods. This is wrong with me. So we get into a back and forth dialogue to where my superpower comes out, which is the power of my voice. And I start to raise my voice. You suck. You suck. You suck! And we make eye contact, and she points us out like, me? And I'm like, yeah, you suck. And she goes, me? And I go, yeah, you. And she turns and taps the police officer standing behind her the whole time and points up at me, to where I stand looking down. I look at Renee Larson, and time goes by in a flash, and next thing I know, I'm getting my arm put up behind my back, and I push back and away, and the police officer says, that is resisting arrest. And then both police officers are on me. My feet never touch the staircase as I am quickly careened down the staircase into the back of a squad car, where Larson looks at the police officer and said, officer, what is going on? To which he responds, if you don't step back, you're going to find yourself in the exact same place as him. And as the door shuts and I get pulled away, I realize I suck. Before you know it, you're at the police station, which is way out in the burbs, in the not so nice part of New Orleans. And they take away all your personal possessions, and they put you into a cell block. Now, it's early for New Orleans standards. It's only like 10 o'clock. And they play the shell game. So they fill up this room, and they put you with some more people, and you get to watch people come together. There's people like drug dealers. Hey, man, I ain't seen you in years. What have you been doing? I've been selling crack up on the north side. Get out of here. I've been selling on the south side. We should go into business. Friends and relationships are made. And I noticed that there's a gentleman who has a cell phone. And I've got to get a call out to the real world because Larson has got to be just panicking, right? So I walk up to this gentleman. I'm like, excuse me, I got $5. Can I borrow your cell phone? He's like, $5 is not enough. It's going to cost you way more. I go, listen, it's all I got. I got to call my girlfriend. She's freaking out. He's like, all right, give me your $5. So he gives me the $5, and he gives me the one warning. He's like, make it quick. And don't let the towers catch you. So I take the cell phone, and I hide back down in the bathroom, and I quickly call, and I pick up the phone, I'm looking around, and Renee answers with a trembling voice, hello? I'm like, Larson, get me the fuck out of here. And I shut the phone and give it back because I can't take too much time. Side note, if you ever get arrested, do not start or finish a phone call in such an abrupt manner, because I know what's happening to me. She has no clue. after a while playing the shell game, they finally process you, which means they take away the last part of your dignity and put you in a very fashionable orange jumpsuit. And they give you bedding. And then they march you over to your cell block. And as you walk into this sterilized, stale area, there's two gentlemen sitting on what looks like a park bench, ironically watching Cops on the TV. And as I walk in, I'm mad. I'm just angry at the world. And the guy looks at me and says, "Hey man, what are you doing in here?" I ignore him. "Hey man, I'm talking to you." Don't say anything. "Man, you look like a motherfucking cop." Don't say anything, except the guy next to him nudges and is like, "Nah man, that ain't a cop. That's the dude from Rocky." After I slept the night, the next day, they put you in my handcuffs, they put me in shackles, and I end up sitting in a huge courtroom filled with 40 other people that are about to get their fate sealed. And my last name being Bailey means that I am the first one called up. And you have two, ladies and gentlemen, two choices: guilty or not guilty. And I find Larson in the audience, and I'm going to set this thing straight. I'm going to speak my mind. I know exactly what I'm going to say. And I step up in front of the judge, and I look at him. He's like, "So what is it, guilty or not guilty?" I said, "I am not guilty, but I've got witnesses." He's like, "Guilty as charged." And I'm like, no, you don't understand. I'm not guilty. But I've got people. He's like, "Nobody comes into my courtroom and says that they were railroaded into a not guilty plea. Because in New Orleans, you are guilty until proven innocent." And the blood drains from my face. I throw my shackled hands up in the air and I yell, "Larson!" as the judge says, "Bailiff, take this man away." And I was hauled back into a holding cell where I was filled with more anxiety. People were like, "Man, you're going to be here all week. You're never going to get the heck out of here." But eventually I did. And there's a moral to this story. Believe it or not, there's a moral to the story. If you subject your loved one to 3 episodes of idiocy within one solid sitting, you really should ask them to marry you. Thank you.